Okay, I wanted to take a few minutes and show you how to create this strut. I just spent a few minutes creating it, and I ran into a few snags on it, so I wanted to just kind of walk you through it just so you don't get frustrated. But this is what the final product should look like with the strut. And so I'm going to go ahead and make you a different. I'm going to make it again right in front of you. So real quickly, if you open up the Creo Primer, which is in the InGrade account on the InGrade calendar, um, go ahead and open that up. And this is on page 41. First, you want to sketch it out real quick and just kind of plan out how you're going to do this. Okay. So you might want to just go through and read through the directions just so you can get all your dimensions figured out. But then once you've got that, you're going to go ahead and open up a new file. You're going to select your working directory. Just select your CAD folder that you've been using and create a new file. And this one I wanted to name it strut_100. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and go File, New. I've already set my working directory, so I'm okay. And I'm going to call this strut_100. Hit OK. Make sure that it's under part, not sketch. We want a part. Click OK. That should bring us to a new folder. The next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and set our dimensions. We're going to go to Prepare and Prepare and Model Properties. And because remember the default's inches, and we're doing this in millimeters, so we're going to change those properties to millimeters and set it. Click OK that we want to convert it, and we should be good. So now we'll hit close this out, and now we're ready to get going here. So the next thing we want to do in our directions, it says, let me scroll down, we want to go ahead and turn off all of our planes. We don't really need that. Actually, they have it on, but I like to turn them off. So they're going to start with an extrude, and then they're going to go through a sketch. So again, this is kind of backwards from the way we do it in class, but you can do it either way. Okay, so I'm going to go back and open up my file. I'm going to sketch it out first. I'm going to go a little bit backwards from the way they do it in the manual. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch mine, and it's asking me which plane I want to use. And oh no, I forgot, so I better go back to my directions and look. And they said to do it on the right plane. So we're going to do that. We're going to sketch this out as a circle, a center and point circle, and we're going to make it 8 millimeters. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to select right because that's where I want to sketch this. Okay, then I want to go to my sketch view. So now I'm on the right datum plane and I'm ready to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a center and point circle. I'm going to let it snap into the center, draw it out, middle click, and it comes out as 111 millimeters. So I just double click on that, change it to 8 like it said, hit enter. Now we have our 8 millimeter sketch. So we click OK and we're good to go now. The next step, if we go back to our directions, it says that we want to go ahead and extrude this. So they've already selected extrude. We're going to go ahead and hit the extrude button, just like they say. So I'm going to go and extrude. Make sure that before you hit extrude that the sketch over here on the model tree is selected. So we've got it extruded. It came out at 3.38 millimeters. We want to change that. The directions say we want to change it to 90 millimeters, but we also want to select this on both sides option. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to set it at 90, hit enter, and as you can see here, as of right now, it just extruded at 90 millimeters out from the sketch, but we want to select the from center. Okay, just like that. So that means it's 45 out this way, 45 out this way. That means our sketch is right smack in the middle. That's the way we want it. So we'll click OK. Back to our directions now. I'm going to scroll down here. It says now we want to do another extrude. We're going to do another extrude from the center, and we're going to do it as a circle. Okay, and the circle is going to be 12 millimeters in diameter. So I'm going to go back to my program here. I want to, again, we're going from the right datum plane. We're going to do another sketch. We're going to select, we want to select circle. Go right here to the middle, and we're going to just draw it out, middle click, and right now it is a 14 millimeters, but again it said we wanted to go 12, so we hit enter, and that looks like our sketch is okay. So we click OK. Now we have our sketch going around the middle. Okay, our next step, if we go back to our directions, we want to extrude it, but again we want this to be from the center, and we want it to be a total of 70 millimeters. So we're going to go back here. We've got to make sure that our sketch is selected down here. We're going to hit extrude, and the direction said 70 millimeters. As you can see, that pushed us way out the end, but that's because we don't have the right selection over here. We're going to go to from center. Okay, looks pretty good so far. So click done. Now we're right on we're on the right track. Our next step is if we go back here to our directions. I'm going to scroll down. The next thing we want to do is we want to make a revolve, an arc revolve. Now this is where it got a little bit tricky. So you really have to follow the directions perfectly on this one. Okay. And the reason we want to follow the directions perfectly is so that we get the correct dimensions. We could eyeball this and it would probably look just the same, but we want to go for the right dimensions. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and create a revolve from the front datum plane. So we're going to go back here. We're going to go to the front datum plane, and we're going to click revolve, just like it said. And we're going to go to our sketch view. And okay, so if you read the directions, it says the next thing we need to do is, if you read the directions, we're going to hit the sketch, and we're going to go to point 1 as we're going. Okay, let me go ahead and just go through this with you rather than trying to show you the directions. Okay, we're going to hit the arc, make sure that it's selected on center and ends. We go ahead and we're going to select somewhere in the middle. Now as we're coming over here, you can see that it's making this circle. The next thing we want to do is, as we're making this circle, we want to hold down the Alt key. Oh, sorry, we want to kind of put it right above this line. You can zoom in if you want to. Push down the Alt key and hit the left mouse key. And as you see, it kind of created a blue line right there that we can snap into. That way we know we're right on the top. So I'm going to select there. And then as I move my mouse over, it kind of draws that arc. And I want to snap back into the top over here. Boom. Middle click out. And now you can see that we have somewhat of an arc, but it's also quite a bit off. So if we go back to the directions, it's going to tell us exactly what to do next. It says in the directions to go ahead and just grab that arc. You click on it and you just drag it up so it's just above that center line. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to come over here. We're going to just click on the arc and just drag it up so it's just above that blue line, just like that. Middle click out. Now I'm going to go back to my directions and see what it tells me to do next. Oop. Okay, now this is where you've got to be really careful because you've got to set these dimensions, and there's a special way to do it. So what you're going to do is from the dimensions group, we're going to select this button, normal dimensions. We're going to select on this blue line right here. Then we're going to move our mouse up to the arc right above the blue line and select it again. Then move it straight up again and middle click up here. So let's see if this works. Alright, so we're going to come right over here. We've got to select normal up here. We're going to come down. We're going to select, I'm going to zoom in so I can make sure it's selected, the middle line. We move our mouse up till the arc is selected. Click again. Move straight up. And we're going to middle click now. And as I do that, you can see that it brings in these numbers. And in the directions it says we want to change that number to a 4. And watch what happens when I hit enter. Okay, what it just did is it spaced from the middle up to the bottom of the arc. It made it 4 millimeters. Okay, so we're getting close. We're almost done now. Now we have to resize these two endpoints. And again, you got to go back to the directions and follow them very close. Okay, it says next that we still have to have this button activated. If you look up at the top, it's still activated. Okay, we're going to select 1. We're going to click this spot right here, number 1. We're going to click the other spot right here, 2. And then we're going to go up right to the middle and we're going to middle click to make a 3. So and then we're going to make that 60. So let's try that again. We still have it selected up here. So we're going to come over here and select this piece, 1. Come over here and select this piece, 2. I'm going to come up right to the middle and middle click. And there we go. So now it has the distance activated. We're going to change that to 60. And boom, now we've got our arc with the correct dimensions that we want. Okay, so going back to my directions now, if I scroll down, it says the next step is to create your center line. Okay, and so we're going to do that real quick. Center line is right here. It's this button. So I'm going to come over here and select this end. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Select over here. Middle click. We now have our center line selected. Okay, if you go back to your directions and scroll down, it says the next step after we click OK, it's going to bring up the revolve window, and you've got to make sure that these two, the remove material is selected. So here we go. We're going to click OK. Okay, we now have our sketch done. So we want to make sure that the remove material right here is selected. And when we do that, it goes and it cuts all that stuff around on the top. Okay, click OK. The rest of this I think you can probably figure out on your own, but I'll go through it with you anyways, just to be on the safe side. Okay, so we're going to scroll down. That's what it looks like. Next thing we need to do is we need to create a round edges, and they need to be at 0.5. So we're going to make these guys round right here. I'm going to select my round tool, make sure it's at 0.5, which it is. I want this one to be round, and I'm going to hold down Control and make this guy round. Select OK. Now they look a little bit classier. And the last step here, if I scroll down, is to chamfer the two very end pieces, and those also need to be at a 0.5 millimeter. So going back here, I'm going to click the chamfer tool. It's at 0.5 millimeter already, so I'm going to select this piece, hold down Control, select that piece. Looks good. Hit OK, and there we go. Now we've got our strut. Okay, so we have one last little step to do, and the directions you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom to figure this one out, but most of you guys know how to do this already. We're going to go to the render tool and the appearance gallery, and I've already got the green selected here, so I'm just going to click on it. Now when you color them, it helps to hold down the Control key. Okay, so you want to select everything you can. Oh, hold on, I did something wrong. Let me click appearance again. Now that I've got the paintbrush, I can select all these pieces. It might take a minute. Just make sure you're holding down Control. Okay, I'm gonna flip this thing around. I'm gonna color all this stuff. We want it to look good. Make sure it's all colored. Still holding down Control. I take the Control. Oh, missed a couple pieces right there. Color, and we're looking good. So up here, you can't see it. Mine's off the screen, but there's a little button that says OK. Once you click OK, now we've got our piece colored, and there you go. You've got your strut. Now the last step in this model is to go ahead and insert the strut into the block that we made last week. So I'll do that for you real quick. Let me go ahead and open it up. I'm going to go with a new part, a new assembly this time. I'm going to call this Strut Assembly. And we want to go ahead and assemble. So I'm going to assemble the cube that I made last week right here. I'm going to make that my default. Click OK. And then I'm going to go and take the strut that I just made. I've got them both there. And you can see that I made a mistake here. I'm going to point out the mistake I made. You see that the strut is really, really, really small, and that the cube is really, really big. Okay, I'm going to leave it right. Okay. I'll go ahead and tell you. The reason this isn't working is because the cube, I accidentally left that in inches, where I should have converted it to millimeters. So I'm going to take a second and pause the video, and I'll fix it, and I'll be right back. Okay, now it's fixed. I had to go and convert the cube to millimeters again. So now that we have this set, now that we have it set, we need to go ahead and set our definitions. Now we're going to make this a static constraint. So we're going to want to make sure it's selected on automatic. I'm going to zoom in here and I'm just going to select, I'm going to select my axis point here. and I'm going to constrain it to this hole. You can see that it just lined up. And then we're going to select that edge and constrain it to that face. And there we go. It is now perfectly constrained. If you want to go through here and build something cool, you can do that. You can go and just add another block, another corner cube, and you can continue to assemble them. Let's do this. Oh, I messed up. Go through here and delete this guy. Okay, we're going to assemble that to that, and this face to right here. Perfect. So you can continue to do this and add more struts, add more cubes, and make something pretty cool. Good luck, have fun, and I will see you in class.